I just finished watching the movie on Netflix called Straw. All kinds of emotions are running through my body right now. So if you've never watched it, so let me just give you the rundown of it. It's about this single mother trying to just survive, and it's a one day, or I would say like 1-2 days kind of event that happened in the life of this single mother. And apparently, so is this single mother, her name is Janae, hopefully I'm saying the name Wilkerson, and she started off with a daughter in bed with her, and her daughter has some health issues and stuff. And the actual thing was that she started off with coming from, it was in an hospital, and she was carrying her daughter, and the doctor and the nurses were looking at her behind her back. They were looking at her, and she was carrying her daughter out of the hospital, and she kind of stops, you know, in the walkway of the hospital, in the corridor, and she kind of stops with her daughter, and then she smiles, and then she keeps on walking. So they show her in bed with her daughter the next morning. Being in bed with her daughter the next morning, the alarm sounds, there's noise and stuff, the alarm sounds, and she gets her daughter ready for school. The daughter has an art project, which is like, I don't know, it's just like an electronic stuff with different sections. That is important, so keep on listening to this. So that is important. So what happened was that she works at a convenience store or supermarket, you know, one of those supermarkets in a small town or wherever they lived. And she's rushing, and she is low income. When I say low income, she's just trying to survive on the smallest amount of money she can survive on. So as she comes out of her apartment, dragging her daughter, trying to get her daughter to school, rushing, she sees an homeless guy. I bet the homeless guy is always there in the same apartment area as she is. So the guy asks her for money, and she's like, I don't have any money. She doesn't even have enough money to give her daughter for lunch, right? To help her daughter get lunch. And you know how schools are, where you have to pay for lunch unless your child gets that special lunch. We all know what the special lunch is. It's like some crusty peanut butter jelly or some crusty whatever. And you don't want your child to do that, to eat that every day, because all the other kids are going to make fun of them. Remember that point also. So she tells the homeless guy, oh, I don't have money. But she digs into the little she has, and she still gives the homeless guy some money. While she's doing this, the landlord is yelling, you gotta pay the rent. And she's like, I'm gonna give you the rent later on during my break. It's payday. Very important, remember that. So she rushes to the school, she drops off her daughter, she waves to her daughter, and keep note, while she's waving to her daughter, the principal or whatever is kind of like waving at her like, okay, you know, which is kind of, to me, that was kind of odd, but keep on watching. So apparently she gets to work, she's already late to work, she clocks in, her boss is can't say that word, but her boss is really mean. Her boss is yelling at her, go to your register, because she's a cashier, and she rumbles off, she goes there, she's trying to, you know, do her job, and the customers are just awful. You know, it's still good. Her day is still good at this point, okay? So at this point, her day is still good. So what now happens is that she goes to the break when the one of the customers throws a glass, because the person wanted to pay with a weak card, and you can't pay with a weak card because yada yada yada. So the boss comes out, go clean that mess. So she goes to the back to clean the mess. And one good friend comes, encourages her and stuff. And then she goes back again to work, and she gets a call from the school, okay? From the school. And when she gets a call from the school is calling her and stuff. And she's like, yes, I'm going to give her the lunch money. It's only $40. So she tells her boss, I got to go to my kid's school. And the boss is like, you better not go there. Don't. And the boss is just really mean, and boss is like, you'll be back in 30 minutes. She jumps into her car, and it is raining. So she goes to the bank across the street, and she goes there, and she's like, oh, can you just give me some money out of my account, because she's trying to use the ATM, and the ATM machine is not working. It's telling that insufficient fund, because apparently this poor lady, oh my goodness, bless her heart, she only has $47 in the bank. They give her the $40, and she's running off to the school. She gets there, she sees the principal, and she's telling the principal, oh, you know, I have the money. And she sees CPS dragging her child out of the school and saying, no, your child comes to school hungry, dirty, cold, whatever, we're taking the child away. She's like, oh my goodness, the world is crashing, because guess what? A child is the only thing that she's living off of. A child is the only thing that keeps her going every day. She gets in the car and she starts driving, and it's raining at this time. When she starts driving and there's a hold up. Remember, our boss said that she has to be there by 30 minutes? Well, there's a hold up. So she kind of, you kind of cut, there's like traffic, there's construction. She kind of cuts the line, and I think she cuts off one guy. So the guy comes after her, hits her car, rams her car, and the police came, and the guy now comes out, and she now comes out and she tells the police that this guy ran me off. And the police is like, oh my goodness, officer. Well, the guy that ran her off was an officer. And his main is like, you better get her. He's telling the patrol guy, officer lady that you better get her. I want you to get her. Just get her good. They impounded a car because also she didn't have a valid license. Registration, everything has expired, because guess what? She's the lady with the $47. No, correct me, $7 now in a bank account. Oh, she managed to walk and get over to a workplace just to find out that once she got to our workplace, our boss said she was fired or something of that sort. By the time she gets to our apartment, our landlord has evicted her. So all our stuff is on the outside. Remember, it's still pouring rain. Our child's medicine, everything she owns in this world. Oh my goodness, it's outside. It's literally outside. So she grabs a clear backpack. She grabs a kid's science kit, the science fair toy that a kid was making. She grabs a kid's medicine, any little thing she could salvage. She grabs it, she puts it into the bag. And she ends up going back to work because she's like, I need my child to have somewhere to stay. I still have a paycheck. She goes back to work and she goes to her boss and she's begging her boss. She's like, she goes to the back room to where the boss is, and she's like, please just give me my check. She's trying to be calm. At this time, I would have blown up. The world is crashing down. I would have just said, you know what? Just give me my money. Well, our boss is like still mounting. I'm not going to give you my money. The policy of the company is that if you get fired, you don't get your money back. Right when she's saying that, two guys show up with pow, and they want to rob the back room. So the boss has money all over the place. They start robbing the place and stuff. And then the one guy that was robbing the place was like shouting at her, and he sees a name tag. Whenever you're working as a registrar, you have your name tag right there. And he's like, Janae, this and that and that. And she's trying to, kind of hold up. Well, something came up. I don't know what happened. Something happened. The guy drops the pow. And pow. Janae unalive the guy. Guess what this silly boss was like, Janae, you set it up. Oh, you're gonna get it. Oh, you set those guys up to come and rob me. Well, Janae was like, I didn't do that. Next thing, she just unalives her boss. She just, and everything was recorded. Walks over to the bank with a paycheck, the science, the toy that looks like something, BOMB, gives the cashier a check. No, I can't, She didn't know what happened. She took out she's like, just cash my check. And that girl, the young teller, she freaks out. She's like, oh my gosh. And then the other teller pressed the silent alarm, alerts the police. And she has a BOMB. Police comes over and, oh my goodness, negotiation, just trying to get her to realize that, I don't even know how to start. Anyway, the whole scenario now goes crazy and stuff. One of the tellers, after a while, she releases some older people who leave the bank and stuff. And one of the tellers starts going live on the phone. I'm like, girl, but you know what? At first, I was like, why would you go live? She sets the phone somewhere that nobody could see. I'm like, why would you go live? But guess what? That was a good thing, because what happened next was that everybody in the city rallied. They're like, let Janae go. This is the head turner. This is what got me crying, like really crying. And Mom got on the phone and said, Janae, what are you doing? And she's like, yeah, for my baby. They took my baby or whatever. And her mom goes, your daughter died yesterday. This one really got me.